Say you've got a goal, right? So you've decided that you want to get in shape, you want to get fit, you want to lose inches. Just don't do what most people do. This is the worst advice you could possibly give or receive, and that is to eat less food. Eating less food is the fastest way to go backwards, and that's because eating less causes hunger, and hunger causes overeating. So often when people are trying to eat less, they end up eating more, and then they wonder why they're putting on weight when they're trying to lose weight. So this video is called 10 ways to eat in a calorie deficit without eating less food, because eating less food is the absolute worst possible way to get yourself in shape. So if you want to lose fat, if you want to put on muscle, if you want to get fit, if you want to feel better, there are lots and lots of different ways that you can actually create a calorie deficit without eating less food. So naturally, if you're in a position where you have more body fat than you'd like to have, at some stage in the past, you've been eating in a calorie surplus, whether you did it on purpose or not, or it was accidental. You went through a period where you ate more calories than your body needed, so it got stored as fat. So for you to reverse that process, all you got to do is start eating less calories than your body needs so that it starts burning through the fat that's in your body. What people tend to do is they jump to these calorie calculators and go, how many calories should I be eating? Well, the first thing you want to find out is how many calories are you actually eating already? And that comes down to tracking your calories. So you've built the body that you have now, and if you haven't tracked what you've been doing, that might be why you're confused about why you have extra fat that you want to lose. So if you have been steadily putting body fat on over the past few weeks, months, or years, you've been eating more calories than your body needs. So you've been eating in a calorie surplus. If you've basically stayed the same, you've probably been eating in a calorie maintenance, and if you've been losing body fat, then you probably were eating in a calorie deficit, which means you were eating less calories than your body expended. So this is the part most people don't want to do. They want to be told what to do. They don't want to acknowledge what they've done in the past, and that is your first big mistake. Quite often people will just carry on with what they're doing and eat less of the food that they normally eat. So that means that their calorie intake has immediately gone down. Yes, it will cause a calorie deficit, or it means that you will be consuming less calories, but you can actually eat more food and consume less calories. And that's if you do point one, which I'm about to talk about now, and that's calorie swapping. So once you've started tracking what you eat on a daily basis, you'll start to see that you have habits and certain things that you like to eat. They're always there, so we call them a staple. What you want to do is look for the highest calorie dense foods, so food that is dense in calories and low in nutrients, and start to swap them out for the opposite. So you might swap a high calorie meal for a low calorie meal. So it means you're still eating the same amount of food, so you're still feeling full, satiated, and got lots of energy, but your calorie intake has gone down. Now, if you keep doing swapping and swapping and swapping, and you keep doing this consistently over months and months and years, eventually you will actually get to a point where you're eating very low calories, but you're eating a huge amount of food. So that means you're still full, you've still got lots of energy, still getting all the nutrients that your body needs, but your calorie intake has reduced. So that means you can still eat plenty of food, you've still got lots of energy, so that means you can still train hard, which is another way of causing a calorie deficit, but you're not eating less food and causing yourself to be hungry and go through that cycle of hunger, eat nothing, binge, hunger, eat nothing, binge, and go like this, like a yo-yo. Start tracking what you're doing so that you can start swapping what you normally eat for something which is a better choice. So rather than eating the same food and just eating less of it, you're swapping a high calorie food for a low calorie food. Because I tell you what, if you've ever looked at a calorie chart, 100 calories of broccoli will go a lot further than 100 calories of chocolate. So if you can't stop eating chocolate, it's probably because you're not eating enough of the good food and you're hungry and you're getting cravings. Increase the broccoli or increase the veggies and all the other healthy foods that you are eating, your cravings will go down. You might still eat chocolate, but you're not eating as much of it. This is the power of calorie swapping. So point number 2 is to get moving every day. People ask about how many calories they've burnt during a workout. And if you do a really good, hard, intense, good quality workout, you might burn a few hundred calories. But you've got to remember that you're awake all day, you're moving all day, you're alive all day, you're breathing, you're walking around, you're blinking your eyelids, you're fidgeting, you're getting up, you're sitting down, you're going to the toilet, you're making meals, you're exerting energy all day. So the truth is that you actually burn more calories throughout a day than you do in a workout, even if you work really, really hard. Now, what I often see is people try and do 2 or 3 workouts back to back. So they try and increase the amount of calories that they've burnt during the workout. But the problem with that is you can only maintain the intensity for a short period of time. So if you're doing 2 or 3 workouts back to back and you're doing really, really big, long marathon workouts, without even realizing it, you've reduced down to a moderate intensity. So you're not actually working as hard as if you did a short, sharp workout, went home, ate properly, rested a lot relax. You can increase your calorie expenditure throughout the day just by being more active throughout the day. If you look at someone who has a very busy job, they're on their feet all day, as opposed to someone who sits in an office on their butts all day. They don't move as much. They might be bored. There might be a kitchen with snacks in it, as opposed to someone who's out all day on the road doing bits and pieces. They don't have access to any other food. They don't have access to snacks. So moving your body more throughout the day will create a calorie deficit. Point number 3 is, you have to do a workout at some point. So what you want to think about when you're looking at the workouts that you do to create a calorie deficit is it's only going to create the tiniest little dent in the amount of calories that your body burns throughout the day. So like I said before, being active throughout the day, being alive, walking around, breathing, moving, and doing all those sorts of things, you might burn 1,500 calories throughout the day, but then you might only burn 500 in your workout. So that might be 2,000 throughout the day, which is a fairly decent or standard amount, but it's still only a small amount if you've done a really good hard workout. So when you do these workouts, just understand that more isn't better, because if you do more, you're going to reduce your intensity and you're going to work at a moderate level. You're not going to work at an intense level for hours and hours on end. So when you come to doing your workout and you're thinking about what kind of exercise you want to do, look at more bang for your buck. So do the things that are going to get you towards your goal. Are you doing strength training? Are you doing HIIT training? What kind of training are you doing? And is it going to get you closer to your goal, or are you just exercising for the sake of burning calories? Point number 4 is to get up earlier. Clearly, when you're lying in bed asleep, that means you're not moving, which means your body's expending less calories than it would when you're awake. So if you're awake, you're moving around, you get up earlier, you're going to burn more calories throughout the day just by walking around, getting up, moving, eating, sleeping. This is the one that people tend to overlook when they want to lose body fat, because they think, how could building muscle help me lose body fat? And in the short term, no, it won't. Strength training is long-term fat loss. So cardio will burn calories. Strength training will burn calories and build muscle at the same time. Muscle is immune system. Muscle is active tissue. So the more active tissue you have in your body, the more calories your body will expend throughout the day. Strength training is something that should be a staple in everybody's training plan, whether their goal is to lose body fat, get fit, run a marathon. There's just so many benefits to strength training besides looking good that it really should be a staple in everybody's life. Number 6 is to drink more water. So obviously water is going to make you feel more full. It hydrates you, flushes out all your organs, makes everything work properly, makes you feel good, makes you feel alert. Research actually shows you can speed up your metabolism by 30% just by drinking more water. Number 7 is spicy food. Did you know spicy food can speed up your metabolism? Keep a food diary. So when you decide to do something and make a change, you're only going to know if it's working if you actually track what you're doing. Then you can see what kind of result you're going to get. So whether you're just writing it down on a bit of paper, taking photos, using an app, the most effective thing that you could actually do is to be really honest about what you did, what you consumed, and the actions you took to achieve the body you have right now. So what I'm talking about is tracking what you're doing without having a goal, without trying to change anything, and without trying to make your data look good, because it's just for your own information. It's not to show anyone. It's just to go, right, you know what, I've put on a few kilos. I really need to figure out where I'm going wrong. So start writing down what you're doing day to day. And quite often that part is really is an eye-opener for most people. You go, jeepers, I didn't realize I was drinking that many lattes. I didn't know I was having that many off meals. I didn't know I was having that many alcoholic drinks. So often when you start tracking what you're doing without trying to make the data look any better, or without trying to improve what you're doing, the answers are actually blatantly obvious. Number 9 is to stop drinking alcohol. So even red wine has got alcohol in it, clearly. It's got ethanol in it. Ethanol's a poison. If you put poison in your body, then the first thing your body's going to try and get rid of is the poison. It's not going to try and get rid of the carbs. It's not going to try and get rid of the fats. It's not going to try and get rid of anything else in the body if you've just put ethanol into your body. So if you're worried about whether you're having the right amount of fats or the right amount of proteins or the right amount of this or that, but you're still putting ethanol in your body, just understand that your body has just stopped trying to do anything else, and right now it's just trying to get rid of the ethanol. You want to feel good, you want to build muscle, ethanol has to go, and it's an all alcohol. Point number 10 is to stop giving so many fucks. The worst thing you can do is worry about all the bloody small details and then get all upset that you're not getting anywhere. You've done a little bit of work and you haven't seen a result yet. If this is something that you actually are committed to, you won't care how long it takes. I see this all the time where people go, oh, I've been working out for 2 weeks and I haven't seen a result, or nothing's changing and blah, blah, blah. It's like watching paint dry. So if you stare at the paint, it won't dry, right? But if you go off and do a million other things and come back, you're like, oh my gosh, it's already dry. When it comes to getting the result that you want, you've got to ask yourself all these little things that you're doing, all the changes that you're making. If you're happy to keep doing those things forever, then it actually doesn't matter how long it will be before you see the result. Because once you get the result, it's not going to go away because you're not going to stop doing the things that got you there. This is why eating less food never works. First of all, yeah, you might lose weight, but how long are you going to eat less food for? Eventually, you're going to get hungry, you're going to get cravings, and you're going to binge. And then you're going to feel bad, so you're going to go through another period of eating no food, and you're just going to go like this. What you want to think about is, if I make this change and I do it every single day, am I happy to keep doing it forever? Because if the answer is no, then you're not going to keep the result from that either, which means you're actually just going to get more upset later when you go backwards. So when you choose the changes that you're going to make to get the result, you've got to decide and you've got to ask yourself, if I do this, am I going to keep doing it forever and ever more? Because if I'm not willing to do it, then there's no point starting at all. If you're not going to keep doing it, then you're not going to keep the result. You're going to feel like a failure afterwards. And then you're going to wonder why you did all of this work and you got nothing out of it. So this is why when it comes to getting the result that you want, you don't need to eat less food. I've got one dog that's a bit overweight and people keep telling me to make him eat less food. I'm like, but then he'll be hungry and he'll be overweight and he'll be more miserable. So rather than make him eat less food, I'll give him the same amount of food, but better quality food so that his calories have gone down. He's still full, he's still happy, and he's losing weight without even realizing. So don't do what most people do and just go, right, I'm going to carry on with the same life I had before, but just eat less of the food that I normally eat. That's just ridiculous because you're just making yourself hungry. You're going to feel deprived. You're going to be grumpy. You're going to be angry. You're going to not be fun for the people around you. And it's going to be miserable for everyone. If you look at these 10 points, each one of these points may only burn an extra 100 calories per day. But if you do all 10 of them, that's an extra 1,000 calories you've burnt throughout the day without even eating less food. So this is why I want you to start to think about your routine, what you do day to day. Do you have a structure set up? Because once you've got a routine and a structure set up, it's very easy to implement 3 or 4 of these points, which means your calorie deficit is going to start to get bigger without you even eating less food. If you like it, let me know. Have a great day.